Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
The bi-state hit by hail as big as golf balls and baseballs. Tonight, people on both sides of the river are cleaning up and assessing the damage. It was all part of a storm system that prompted tornado warnings for the second time today. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Tonight, the severe weather threat has moved out. Most watches and warnings have lapsed. Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who has been here all day and night tracking the storms.
Well, when you wake up to tornado warning sirens going off, and then through the afternoon and evening, you have huge hail falling in and across the area. It certainly gets your attention, and that's what we've had around the region today. Things have settled considerably now. We are no longer in storm alert as the threat for severe weather has shifted far away to our east. The only warning of any type that we have is a residual flash flood warning here in Washington County, Illinois. 2 to 4 inches of rain and hail fell in this area. So there may be some minor ongoing flooding, but we haven't had any reports out of Washington County since that's been issued. This is how things evolved this afternoon and this evening as those thunderstorms started to develop across parts of central Missouri into east central Missouri, including the St. Louis area. The initial storms easily produced large hail and caused a tremendous amount of hail damage across the area. The totals on that and how much it's going to cost to fix roofs, cars, and all of that, it's going to be up there. Those numbers are going to be high. A lot of scary clouds too, but the good news is we did not have a lot of tornado reports this evening. We had a few spin-ups early this morning, we believe, but this afternoon and this evening, even though the ingredients were all there, you got more of this, scary clouds and hail than anything else. Chris shared that picture from out around St. Charles 370 in Truman, and then this from Justin in South City as the clouds began to break from the west during the evening hours. Our threat of severe thunderstorms and rain in general, that's coming to an end now. We have no severe weather overnight. Tomorrow, skies will clear and it will be a bit cooler, but relatively quiet weather is ahead, Kelly, as we work our way towards the first official day of spring next week.
All right, Scott. One of the hardest hit areas tonight, O'Fallon, Missouri, where hail rained down. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend is live with a look at the extensive hail damage there, Robert.
Hey there, Kelly. Let me tell you, about 6 hours ago, the hailstorm pounded homes and lots of cars here in O'Fallon. Take a look at this. This damaged Honda now sits outside City Hall, and like so many, its front windshield is shattered, and the car, let me tell you, is covered with countless dents.
Well, we heard the alarms, the sirens, and so we took cover.
Just after 4 Thursday afternoon, Chris Henrik and his wife raced downstairs to the shelter in their cellar as a relentless hailstorm battered their home on Civic Park Court in O'Fallon, Missouri.
The noise was so intense when it hit the roof, it sounded like gunfire.
Henrik captures cell phone pictures of the golf ball sized hail that pelted their cars.
Every car's got damage on it that was parked outside.
And damaged siding on their home and shattered a rear bedroom window.
There's holes, large holes in all corners of the house.
He says in just a matter of minutes, the storm also damaged dozens of his neighbors' cars and homes.
I was working and just started hearing the rain come and then a lot of loud thumps.
Paul Deschler went outside only to see the large balls of hail ruin his Honda Civic.
Yeah, the car is pretty bad. There's dents all along the roof of it in the back and in the front, and the windshield on the front of my car cracked as well too.
A few miles away, the merciless storm also left its mark on hundreds of employees' cars parked at this Car Shield business. Hours after the storm, crews were still towing some away. Back on Civic Park Court, neighbors relieved nobody was hurt during the wild weather.
That's great news, and you know, it's just stuff. That's just stuff. We'll fix it.
And no doubt homeowners are still at this hour assessing the damage and calling their insurance adjusters. We're live in O'Fallon, Missouri. I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
As soon as today's storms hit, many of you began capturing images where you live. From dark, ominous skies to golf ball-sized hail, our area seemed to see it all. Our Brent Solomon is just back from Staunton with a look at the damage there and from other parts of our viewing area. Brent?
That's right, Mike. Within just the past couple of hours, emergency responders cleared I-55 after having to rescue drivers who were left stranded. Large hail hitting their windshields, leaving them with nowhere to go in the middle of the day. A sudden emergency as golf ball-sized hail stops drivers in their tracks. This was the scene on I-55 near exit 37 in Staunton. Take a look at all of the hail that fell onto the shoulder Thursday evening. That same hail knocking out windshields and damaging nearly 30 vehicles. The storm started much earlier in the day. These images from the Marquette Park campground. Downed tree limbs, branches snapped in half. Along Illinois Route 109, much of the same. We asked those of you who could do so safely to send us images from where you live. Many of you followed suit, from sharp lightning to busted car windows on Bryan Road near I-70. There are photos of the hailstorm in full swing in Eolia. Many people stopping to take photos with the hail in hand. Listen to how hard it came down. In the end, perhaps a glimmer of hope. This rainbow surfacing after the storm in House Springs. And despite all of the damage and significant hail, fortunately no reports of any injuries. Please send us your storm photos and videos by texting them to 314-425-5355.
And this round of storms comes after another storm system came through this morning. The National Weather Service says there was a possible tornado in Brighton, Illinois, north of Godfrey. We're told no one was hurt, but the storm knocked out power for thousands of people in Brighton and Medora. One person who lives in the area told us the storm woke him up.
It really started getting noisy and rough, and I couldn't see anything out the bedroom window facing the west. Stuff blowing around out there. I knew it was ugly, but it was out of my control. Been out here since 1983. This is the worst one I've seen.
The National Weather Service says it will survey the damage later on to determine if it really was a tornado.
Tonight, police in Nashville, Tennessee say they don't suspect foul play in the disappearance of a University of Missouri student. It has now been 6 days since 22-year-old Riley Strain was last seen. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski has the latest from investigators tonight. Laura.
Kelly, today Nashville law enforcement agencies did an extensive search of the Cumberland River, but so far they haven't found anything. Investigators searched the woods near the river on foot, used helicopters and drones to fly above the area and boats up and down the river. They also used sonar technology, all to find 22-year-old Mizzou student Riley Strain. He was last seen leaving Luke Bryan's bar in downtown Nashville on Friday night. His parents say he was apparently trying to pay his tab at the bar, and the bartender asked him to leave. Surveillance video from several different locations showed Strain stumbling down the street and even falling down.
So we're utilizing absolutely every resource we can possibly think of at this point. There's no reason to believe that he's been a victim of a crime, and I can't possibly think of any other resource we could utilize that we haven't used or are using right now.
Police are still working to get more data from his phone and Apple Watch. Graduation is only a few weeks away, and Riley's parents are still hoping for the best outcome.
And it's now been more than a month since a Missouri Western University student from St. Louis disappeared in Kansas City. T. Montez Hurt was last seen on street camera video February 1st. His grandmother says he called her with some kind of mental distress and then went to a hospital. He disappeared after being released a few hours later. Hurt's family has conducted several searches in Kansas City and have handed out hundreds of flyers.
Tonight, Missouri's Attorney General is renewing his call for stricter punishments for children in juvenile custody. This comes after fights that left a Jennings student dead and a Hazelwood student in critical condition. Andrew Bailey talked specifically today about the 15-year-old girl in custody for the fight that left 16-year-old Kaylee Gain with severe brain injuries. The Urban League of Metro St. Louis calls teen violence a crisis. Leaders say they can help address violence with programs that identify neighborhood conflicts and by deploying resources to them.
There is no discretion here. The court has to hold a certification hearing. When you have teens who should know better, who do know better, and they're committing adult crimes, there needs to be adult punishment.
I think that we need to get out further, much further on the front end. Once a young person has committed a crime, then there are codes and there are laws that govern what should happen.
It's up to the juvenile courts to decide whether the 15-year-old in Hazelwood should be tried as an adult. A hearing is expected in the next few weeks. Tonight, St. Louis County Police are still looking for the people responsible for the death of 14-year-old Justin Brooks. The teen was stabbed Tuesday afternoon just down the street from his junior high in Jennings.
A St. Louis County pediatrician in practice for decades is in jail tonight, accused of prescribing former patients prescription drugs in exchange for sex acts or money. Dr. Craig Spiegel has been federally indicted. Court documents say he pressured women to engage in sex acts for money or opioids dating as far back as 2014 at his Bridgeton office. Now, the Drug Enforcement Administration is investigating. So far, there are 25 known victims.
Dr. Spiegel knew that many of the women to whom he was prescribing to, by the way, many of those women were his pediatric patients when they were girls. He knew that they were experiencing very dangerous substance abuse disorders, and he continued to prescribe to them.
The DEA has set up a hotline for any other potential victims. The number 314-240-1026. You will remain anonymous.